These are real investigations into cases the world tried to forget. Cases with no answers, only questions. And today, we're opening one of the most disturbing files in American history. My name is Fernanda. What matters is what I found. I don't deal in rumors. I deal in documents, testimonies, and patterns. And the Mothman case has all three. November 15th, 1966, Point Pleasant, West Virginia, a small town near the Ohio River, population less than 5,000. Two young couples, Roger and Linda Scarberry, and Steve and Mary Millette, were driving near an abandoned World War II munitions plant known locally as the TNT area. It was just after midnight. Linda Scarberry would later tell police that as they passed one of the old generator buildings, she saw something standing near the door. It was tall, taller than a man. It had wings folded against its back, and when their headlights hit it, its eyes reflected red, not like an animal's eyes, like lights. Roger accelerated. The creature spread its wings, 10 feet across, she estimated, and lifted off the ground. It didn't flap. It glided, and it followed their car. They were doing over 100 miles per hour on Route 62. The creature kept pace. It stayed above them, just beyond the roofline. Steve Millette later said he could hear it, a sound like, his exact words, a record played at low speed. They didn't stop until they reached the Mason County Courthouse. They ran inside and reported it to Deputy Millard Halstead. He later confirmed these were not drunk kids. They were terrified. Linda Scarberry was in shock. She could barely speak. Deputy Halstead didn't dismiss them. He drove back to the TNT area with them that same night. He saw nothing, but he filed an official report. That report still exists. The next day, the story hit the local paper. The Point Pleasant Register ran it under the headline, "Couples See Man-Sized Bird, Creature, Something." That's when it started. Within 72 hours, the Point Pleasant Police Department received over 24 calls, all describing the same thing, a massive winged figure, red eyes, silent flight. Most sightings occurred near the TNT area, but not all. On November 16th, one day after the Scarberry sighting, a woman named Marcella Bennett was visiting friends near the abandoned power plant. She was carrying her infant daughter. As she got out of her car, she saw it, standing in the shadows near the road. She froze. The creature slowly spread its wings. She described its eyes as burning, not glowing, burning. She dropped her car keys and ran. Her daughter started screaming. Marcella later required medical treatment for shock. She never returned to that area, and according to interviews conducted years later, she never fully recovered. What makes the Mothman case different from other cryptid sightings is this: it wasn't just civilians. On November 18, 1966, two firefighters, Paul Yoder and Benjamin Enochs, were driving along Route 7 near the TNT area. They reported seeing a large bird-like creature rise from the ground in front of their vehicle. Yoder described it as shaped like a man, but bigger, much bigger. These were trained emergency responders. Their report was documented. 4 days later, Richard West, a local building contractor, filed a report with the Mason County Sheriff's Office. He'd been working late near the old power plant. He said he saw something crouched on the roof of an adjacent building. When his flashlight beam hit it, it turned its head toward him. He described the eyes as two red reflectors, 3 inches across. He said it stood up on 2 legs and simply stepped backward off the roof. He heard wings, but he never saw it land. Then there's Connie Carpenter, a hairdresser, respected in the community. On November 27th, she was driving home alone on Route 33. Something landed on the hood of her car. She said it pressed its face against the windshield. Red eyes, humanoid face. She screamed, swerved, and it listed off. She drove directly to the police station. Her hands were shaking so badly she couldn't hold a pen to write her statement. For 13 months, the sightings continued. Over 100 documented reports. And then, December 15, 1967. The Silver Bridge connected Point Pleasant, West Virginia, to Gallipolis, Ohio. It was a suspension bridge built in 1928. That evening, rush hour traffic filled both lanes. At 4:58 p.m., an I-bar in the suspension chain failed. The bridge collapsed in less than a minute. 31 vehicles plunged into the icy Ohio River. 46 people died. 2 bodies were never recovered. The official cause? Metal fatigue, a structural flaw that had existed for years undetected. But here's what makes people ask questions. In the 2 weeks before the collapse, sightings of the Mothman spiked. Multiple witnesses reported seeing it near the bridge, on the bridge, above the bridge. One witness, a truck driver named Harold Coop, told investigators he'd seen a huge, dark shape perched on the bridge tower the morning of the collapse. He didn't report it at the time. He didn't know what it was. He assumed it was a prank or a large tarp. After the disaster, people started calling the creature a harbinger, a warning. Some said it was trying to tell them something. Others said it caused the collapse, that it fed on tragedy. The sightings stopped after December 15th, completely, as if whatever it was, left. So, what was it? Let's examine the possibilities. Theory 1, misidentification. The most common skeptical explanation is that witnesses saw a sandhill crane. These birds can reach 4 feet in height, have a wingspan of 6 to 7 feet, and their eyes can reflect red in certain lighting. But sandhills don't live in West Virginia. They migrate through, rarely, and no ornithologist has ever explained how a crane could keep pace with the car going over 100 miles per hour, or why dozens of witnesses, including police officers, would all misidentify the same common bird. Theory 2, mass hysteria. After the first newspaper article, people were primed to see something. Psychologists call this social contagion. Once the idea of a creature existed, the mind filled in the rest. But mass hysteria doesn't explain physical evidence. Cars swerving off roads, witnesses requiring medical treatment, and it doesn't explain why sightings were reported before the media coverage began. Theory 3, paranormal entity. Some researchers, including the late author John Keel, believed the Mothman was not a physical creature. Keel spent over a year in Point Pleasant interviewing witnesses. His conclusion? The Mothman was an interdimensional being, a manifestation tied to locations of future disaster. Keel documented similar sightings before other tragedies, the Chernobyl disaster, the I-35W bridge collapse in Minnesota. In each case, witnesses reported winged figures with glowing eyes in the days or weeks prior. Theory 4, government experiment. The TNT area was a munitions plant during World War II. It was later used for storage and testing. Some believe the Mothman was a biological or chemical experiment gone wrong, a mutated animal, or a human subject exposed to unknown compounds. Declassified documents confirm chemical weapons testing occurred in West Virginia during the Cold War, but no documents mention anything resembling the Mothman. Theory 5. It was exactly what they said it was. A creature, unknown to science, living in the abandoned tunnels and bunkers beneath the TNT area, possibly disturbed by human activity, possibly territorial, possibly sensitive to structural instability, seismic vibrations, metal stress, which would explain its presence near the bridge before the collapse. We don't have an answer. We have testimonies, we have patterns, and we have a bridge that fell. You might think the story ends in 1967. It doesn't. In 2007, before the I-35W bridge collapse in Minneapolis, several witnesses reported seeing a large humanoid figure with wings near the bridge. The sightings were documented on local paranormal forums. The bridge collapsed on August 1st. 13 people died. In 2011, a group of urban explorers entered the abandoned TNT area in Point Pleasant. They recorded audio. At timestamp 3:47, you can hear what sounds like wings, heavy, leathery. The group left immediately. They never returned. In 2016, multiple witnesses in Chicago reported seeing a flying humanoid with glowing red eyes over Lake Michigan. Over 50 sightings were logged. The reports continued into 2017. No explanation was ever provided. And just last year, a user on a West Virginia hiking forum posted a photo taken near the old TNT area. The image is dark, grainy, but in the upper right corner, there's a shape, tall, winged. The post was deleted within hours. The user's account no longer exists. The Mothman Festival is held every year in Point Pleasant. Thousands attend. There's a statue, a museum. Most treat it as folklore, a local legend. But if you talk to the people who were there in 1966, the ones still alive, they don't laugh. They don't speak of it lightly. Some still refuse to talk about it at all. The case of the Mothman remains open, not officially, but in the minds of those who saw it, and in the archives of those who investigate what cannot be explained. If this case disturbed you, that means you're paying attention. The Hidden Archive exists to preserve these stories, to keep asking the questions no one else will. If you want to see more cases like this, real investigations, real testimonies, no exaggeration, subscribe to this channel. Leave a like if you believe some things can't be explained, and watch the next file we've prepared, because the Mothman is not the only thing that was seen and then forgotten. They say the Mothman only appears before disaster, so if you ever see it, don't wait to tell someone. You might not have time.